Welcome. My name is Penelope Chatterton. Welcome to Awaken the Dream. My friends, I have two friends from Latham Centers sitting with me today, and we're going to talk about shared living. Magda Morin, who is the coordinator, and Katrina Frickland, who is a development person, a person who wears many hats. And thank you both for joining me today, because Awaken the Dream is proud to sort of support programs that help other folks. And from what I am hearing about shared living, it's a spiritual experience, it's an uplifting experience, it's a joining experience, and it's an opportunity for folks to really get together in a wonderful endeavor. Now, Katrina, I'm going to start with you because I want folks to know about Latham Centers. How old are we? What do we do? You've got a lot to talk about.
We do. So much to discuss today. And first and foremost, thank you for having us. We're so happy to be here and looking forward to it very much. So, Latham Centers, we've been around since around 1970. Okay. So we've had many, many years to grow and blossom and truly become what we are today. We are a nonprofit agency giving residential, vocational, and educational supports to students and adults with complex special needs.
Okay.
And we focus in Prader-Willi syndrome.
Yes.
And so to tell you a little bit about Prader-Willi syndrome, I know that the three of us are kind of schooled in it, but we can't assume everyone is.
That's correct.
And so Prader-Willi syndrome, also known as PWS, your hypothalamus, which is in the back of your head here, has a chromosome, and it's the 15th chromosome. And what the 15th chromosome dictates for you is your anxieties, among different things, but your anxieties such as insatiable appetite. So that's the most distinguishing characteristic. Yeah. So as you or I can kind of know when we're full, we stop eating. Somebody with PWS never has that feeling. Yeah. They don't know what it feels like to be full. Yeah. And that's really, really painful.
Yeah.
1 in 12,000 to 15,000 people are born with PWS.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, and it gives you a perspective on it. But the interesting thing about PWS is that a lot of people aren't diagnosed until they're older.
I'm not surprised.
It's really hard. Yeah, we have some people at Latham that aren't diagnosed until their teen years. And then finally they go into the residential program at the school in Brewster. Yeah. And they've been fighting tooth and nail to find the proper placement, but it's because nobody understood them. Yeah. And at Latham Centers, it's the first time for so many people, students and adults included, for them to really find the place that they can call home. Yeah. And there's many different arrangements at Latham Centers for that home environment. Yeah. We serve people that don't have PWS as well. About 50% of our population has PWS.
That many?
Yeah, so about 1 in 2 at Latham has PWS.
Okay.
And we're going to specifically talk today about our adult program. Yeah. While our children's program is fantastic, our adult program is a focus for us today. Yeah. And specifically the community and shared living aspect of the adult program.
I want to mention something. Years ago when I started at Latham, I thought PWS was 1 in like 40,000. And what I'm saying, what I'm hearing is it because of the education and the fact that now people really know what the problem is, and that they didn't know 20 years ago. And so there were folks running around not knowing.
That's exactly what it is. People
I'm just shocked that it's that many.
It's so true. And the thing is, there's some doctors that know about it, some doctors that don't. A lot of the people at Latham Centers, they're fortunate enough to have a family. Yeah. A lot of the times their mothers and fathers have been doing a lot of the research, and they present to the doctor. These are the characteristics. I've heard about PWS. What are your thoughts on it? Yeah. So I think it's a multi-pronged answer, because you have media becoming more accessible to so many people. Yeah. So it's easier for you to look up what characteristics are. Yeah. And then you have doctors becoming more informed on it. Yeah. And so we hope that they're getting diagnosed at an earlier age. Yeah. And then you have just the overall feeling of more supports for special needs people in the community. Yeah. And I think that also helps us, in a sense, understand what PWS is and ask these questions about why is it 1 in 12,000 to 15,000 as opposed to the 1 in 40,000.
And we take such good care. We know so much, and our programs so support the syndrome. But let's get to Magna, because you are the coordinator of shared living, and this is the adult for adults, which is 22, correct. Is that correct? And
yes,
older?
It is 22 and above in Massachusetts, where we consider for people with intellectual disabilities to be adults, to enter the adult world.
Who thought of 22? For some reason I'm thinking, gee, 21 you can do this, and 16 you can have a beer and you can drive when you're 18. But who thought of 22? Was
well,
that just...
I think it's a systematically agreed upon number that allows for the people with intellectual disabilities to enter the adult world with better preparation, and also to remain in the prep stage for a little bit longer.
Yeah, they graduate from school.
Precisely.
Yeah. So, and then you have to open up the program to now what? Some go to residential?
Some people go back to their family, some people go to residential system. We're trying to assess people whom we support, whether it is in our children's program or in the adult program on a constant basis, and evaluate their skills and their ability to live with as much independence as possible, and figure out what is the best model of care for them that we can provide them with.
Now, do you work with their parents first? I mean, do you sit down and is this a family effort where you all put your heads together and say, gee?
It certainly is a team effort.
Yeah.
Not everybody, unfortunately, is that lucky to have the family behind them. But we are truly communicating with the entire team of people that are standing behind the person that we are providing services for. Whether that's a person from the state that supports them, whether it's their therapist, whether it's their guardian, parent, basically everybody that cares about them.
And you know them well.
Absolutely, and I think going off of what Magda was saying, the Latham staff truly becomes family members in our residents' eyes, and it's I heard an amazing story, if you don't mind me telling the story. It involved the children's, and they had a PWS meeting with all the students on campus that had PWS, and all the students took a moment, totally unprovoked, to talk to their teachers about how appreciative they are of their teachers and how they have become family. And it was so heartwarming for all of the staff in the adult program and the children's program to just hear that these young kids, and I'm sure the adults too, have this appreciation and fondness and love for these staff that have become family. And it's so beautiful to see, especially from my perspective as somebody in development. Because I'm not working one-on-one with the individuals, but then we have this amazing group of staff like Magda working one-on-one with the people at Latham Centers.
Staff can have an awful lot of fun. They get to know them so well.
They do.
I was a weekend staff person, and it was family, it was shared living, and I'm telling you, it was so comfortable. It was I was so well trained. I was so well educated into the world that I was walking into, and it was just like, it was just easy. That's all I can say. It was easy, comfortable. I didn't see the challenges. We all just got along. We dealt with what we dealt with, and it was just wonderful.
It's so nice chatting with you about this, knowing that you have a little experience at Latham Centers and in this type of supported living environment.
It was easy, I must tell you. It was easy.
It can be truly rewarding to be a part of this human services system.
And they open up, they get to share with you, and if you take them out on their little case manager day, I mean, they really open up to you like family. They want to be part of your life. They really love you. I mean, it's a wonderful experience that way. And a lot of love goes around.
They do, and that's probably why Latham Centers back in 2006-ish started to explore the idea of shared living, which is something that's very relevant to foster care philosophy.
Very good.
So we were trying to provide the people that we support with a little more individualized, person-centered environment, where they would be more included in the community than we are able to do in a group home environment with as much effort as we put into care for the people that we
yeah.
support over there.
Yeah.
And at that time, around 2006, we began to explore a little bit closer the abilities of the people that we support and their appropriateness to be placed in the shared living placement.
Yeah.
So we identified this one person with Prader-Willi syndrome, Danny.
Danny!
And he
Gotta
was
love Danny.
Yeah, he is amazing. He truly is. And he was matched with one of his former staff who decided after a while to step out of the system of human services and explore a little different lifestyle. He had an empty room in his home where he lived also with his son, who also happens to have a disability, and he had a place in his heart to embrace another person, to embrace Danny.
Yeah.
And they ended up living together for 7 years.
It was so
very
successful.
Successfully.
Yes.
Danny has become a role model for his peers, whether in a day program or in the residential system.
Yeah.
And in 2013, his shared living provider has decided that it was time for him to retire.
Okay.
So we identified this wonderful couple who stepped into Danny's life. They moved from New Hampshire, where they resided prior to that, into Yarmouth area.
Yeah.
So they came to Cape Cod, and they literally started a new life in this area along with Danny. And Danny has become a part of their family system, embracing their cultural, the beauty of their culture. They come from Nepal, so he was exploring their traditions, their holidays, as well as Danny was introducing them to the area.
Did you put them together, Magna?
We did, yes.
I mean, did they approach you? Did you find, I mean, how does this process work? First of all, we're letting folks know this program exists.
Precisely. We, and thank you very much for asking about that, Penelope. We advertise basically constantly for the we advertise the program constantly and the need for shared living providers. We're identifying people in the community. We advertise whether on Craigslist or on job search sites. We're trying to let people know about this program because it truly is a wonderful opportunity where people that we support thrive, and also the people that take care of them can make a difference on time that they normally probably would not find. So they found an ad on Craigslist, approached us, and after having explored their preferences, their likes, dislikes, and having learned more about this couple, about Sarah and Sanjeev, we found that they would be an ideal match for Danny, potentially, and it truly has worked out amazingly.
And going off of what you're saying, Magda, you just saw photos on the screen, and those are Danny in his new natural environment, totally loving life and exploring those traditions that Magda's brought up. And I think it brings that spiritual aspect to the shared living program. And sometimes it's not necessarily on the surface about what is so spiritual about the process, but if you think about your family life and how essential it is to your daily goings on, and a lot of the residents, especially the adult residents, don't have that type of familial bonding.
Yeah, you know, one thing that Awaken the Dream talks about is everybody has a special niche or a special mission to find, and you know, the candidates could be anyone from a single mom to a retired couple to a pregnant mother. I mean, the sky is the limit, and it would be maybe someone who would just love to share their lives and had something within their heart just vibrates to, oh, gee, I guess what I'm trying to say is folks should not be afraid not to explore, because to explore is to just be open, because the process that you give them is so, you work so hard at finding the right situation and the right home and the right everything. Plus, our folks are busy. They don't come and they're not there all the time. They have day programs, they have jobs. Maybe you can explain more about what that would look like for a candidate who might be interested in taking on some of our folks. like they have lives other than just being home.
Most certainly, and we do not ask for potential shared living providers to give up their entire life.
That's where I was
change
going.
it from the building blocks on.
Sure.
We really encourage for people to continue on with their career, for the young professionals, or whether families in the traditional sense where we have mom, dad, and couple kids who do have a space in their home and space in their heart to include another person if that's something that might be considering in their lives. This person will be going to day program or any kind of a vocational establishment. They will want to continue to maintain their relationship that they have already established in the community, while also exploring the culture and the family lifestyle, and have the opportunity to sit at family dinner table every night.
And they come
their
with their
stories.
own doctors. They come with a team.
Precisely.
So that they have, this is built in to the situation.
And we provide ongoing administrative and clinical supports to these families, as well as to the people that they have at their homes that they take care of, as well as 24/7 on-call assistance. And of course, they are being rewarded for this in other ways.
If I could be a witness, it's just not scary. All I can say is the comfort and the support on every level that anyone could need is present for anyone who would like to open that door. And you know, if they open the door and just want to talk to you, I mean, they don't have to feel like it's, you know, it's a dead end or it's, you got to do it. They just need to explore and see.
Exactly.
Because there'll be questions they might have that might be pertinent to who they are.
And I call out in this show to call Magda, you know, just give her a call and talk to her about what your thoughts are, because she's very approachable, very friendly.
Try to be.
and comforting and honest and open.
Exactly, and she can run through what stipends you receive, what types of supports you receive, the amazing uplifting qualities, some success stories. Be completely honest with you about the situation and how truly uplifting it is for not only the resident but for you. And if the person is lucky enough, the parents, the biological parents, because there are some people in the shared living program that have a biological parents that can't provide the necessary supports or don't live in Mass, you know, aren't around. And then there's other people in the shared living program that don't have any of that and never really have. And so there's so many different people that have different spectrums of need. And as you say, Penelope, we all have special needs.
Yes, we do.
We do. We all have certain characteristics that make us our own individual. And the people at Latham Centers, the adult residents who are in this program, have been assessed in a way that we know their ins and outs, we know their flaws, and we know their amazing attributes. And I can tell you from my experience that the amazing attributes truly outweigh any negative characteristics. And I know there's one story about Maria that I'd love for you to tell, Magda, if we have the time for it.
Oh, I would love to. Maria is a young lady who has been, from her early childhood, in the system of state-run care and supervision, and she has been placed in 2012 into a wonderful shared living placement with this lovely single mom and her son, her young son Andrew. And she has truly learned to thrive. This is the first time Maria has truly experienced a well-functioning family environment, the environment of mutual respect and trust. And we pay to these shared living families, or shared living sites as we call it, because not always it's a family in the traditional sense. So we pay at least monthly a visit over there to check in on how things have been, what is it that we can do, and just to make sure that we are all in touch. And So once I come over and I noticed in the middle of the, I was sitting in a living room with the shared living provider and Maria, this young lady, and on the side was a beautiful picture with a portrait of a family, basically. Oh. And it was a portrait that was made by Andrew, by this 7-year-old boy, depicting his new family, which included Maria. As a matter of fact, he refers to Maria when he has friends come over for a play date as just his older sister.
Ah, how nice! So how nice for Andrew.
It truly is lovely, and it's wonderful to see how all of them can benefit from living together in this lovely, lovely cohesive system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, sharing just is a beautiful experience, and to think that maybe Andrew, you know, how nice to have another relative in the house, so to speak, you know. I mean, think of all the options that would be out there for the right combination. I mean, the sky's the limit on that.
Exactly, and even in this past 20 minutes we've talked about a single gentleman who had a son, Dick. We also talked about Sarah and Sanjeev, and they have a more traditional family in the sense mother, father, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but do they have kids as well?
They do have kids who no longer live in their home.
Empty nest syndrome.
Empty nest syndrome.
There you go.
And then you have a single mom with a 7-year-old boy who has the time. And the thing is, people always say, Penelope, I want to help people. I just don't know how.
Yeah.
And this is one way that there's no limit to the amount of time you can spend with your family if you're all living in the same household. And sure, you have work or daily activities or vocational supports, day programs for our individuals, but at the end of the day, you're going to still be coming home. And just being a support for somebody from Latham Centers is so heartwarming and truly makes us smile. I feel we get excited and elated.
We all need to serve. I always go back to 9/11. I was always so shocked after that, and how everybody came out of the woodwork. Our whole planet seemed to turn into service. I mean, that's a while ago, but I did realize, I got that big message about what we can do for one another. Anytime we see a tragedy on the TV or how people make foundations over it, figure out a way to be thoughtful and helpful. I mean, it's a way of life to serve, and it fills our hearts always. We know the rules spiritually. What we put out comes back, and it's all ours and it's theirs, and everybody is raised up by the experience. So it's a win-win. There's just no getting around.
Shared living is a lifestyle, and a lot of people who have tried it just stay with it for a very long period of time because they realize that there's so much they can learn from those people that they support. So they basically support each other and help each other grow and become better, stronger, and better balanced people.
Now, have you ever had two at once go into a shared living experience? Have you always had just one, or have you had a couple go, or is that an option?
Do you mean two in one household?
Yeah, two of our folks sharing with someone else. I mean, is that a possibility? Does that ever happen? Or
yes, it does. It does happen. We like to encourage for more person-centered placement, where there would be one person with disability placed in a family. However, if that is their preference, for instance, there can be a couple that would like to live together and that gets along really well.
Gotcha.
That would be an ideal shared living placement, for instance.
We do have couples.
We do indeed.
Love is the name of the game at Latham Centers. In love is wonderful. To see how, as the director of the Latham Players, to see what mushy music does to our friends. I mean, the heart just opens up. I mean, it's such a universal healer, and it's a language that everybody understands. And so, yes, I see a lot of love. I see a lot of sharing. I see a lot of appreciation. I can remember Sky in a church that was giving thanks to Latham for all that he had received. And they are grateful. They are really grateful for, and they love to be together. They love to be together as well, to have that sense of, I'm not alone in life with what I'm dealing with. And another point about PWS, they do seem to know what's going on. There are a lot of folks running around out there that are clueless about their dysfunction, but our guys, they know. They know what's going on, and they're helped with that.
They're very intelligent, and it's truly amazing to see how they are able to expand their potential when they receive the right care with the right people, or supports rather.
And their talents. They really need their talents explored. I have found that out through theater. Either you're a singer, you're a comedian, you're a comic. You know, if you don't have the opportunity, how are you going to find out?
Exactly.
They need to do everything that we are able to do. They really, go ahead.
No, and what you were saying, it just makes me think, Magda just mentioned person-centered. It's about the individual, and I think that's something that Latham does so well.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying, and you did that so well as the director of Latham Players, the theater troupe for the adult residents.
Yeah.
But for the teachers in the school, for the one-on-one aides in our 365, 24/7 aided households, for the adults, it's all about, say, Jamie and what Jamie needs, and how can we help Jamie, and what are his strengths, and we never, of course, deficits are explored, but what's really focused on are the strong attributes, the things that are really going to make this individual succeed in life.
Yeah, and to discover.
Yeah.
Discovery.
Exactly.
A shared living program could be a discovery for everyone. When someone may open up, maybe there's a singer in the house, or someone's taking piano, or who knows what could ignite someone who comes to live with them. But you know, we only have 2 minutes, so Magda, again, they can email you, call you at Latham Centers. Any other way to get in touch with you? I mean, is it on your website?
Yes, shared living as a program is described on our website that can be reached at emmamoran@lathamcenters.org.
Okay.
You can check out our website, lathamcenters.org. You can give me a call at 774-353-9292, and I'll be very happy to tell you a little bit more about our program, what we do, how we do it, and answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah. Well, you've got me all excited about it, but you know, I was thinking again about how what brings out the best in any of us is to find something we really love to do. That just makes life work on every level, finding something that is special to your talent. Everybody has a talent, and if you haven't found yours, I always say to everybody, well, it's there somewhere. What haven't you dared to do that you love? And I think our folks are really finding that out. In your programs in the school, they have so many opportunities for art and dance and music and reading and intellectual work. I mean, I'm sure you know more than I do about how folks come up and you see their genius in certain areas.
It's all about
which we would want to build on. I've been getting the signal from my friend Eric, and thank you, Jamie, Eric, and Susie today for all you've done for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina and Magda, for joining me on Awaken the Dream.
Thanks, Penelope.
My friends, thank you again for joining us today, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you.